My eyes opened, I looked left, I looked right, kind of rolled around a bit. But I knew I wasn't going to get back to sleep. It's 5 a.m. and I just had to get out of bed and get on with my day. That was me this morning. I had a sleep score of 65, which is not ideal. And even though I'm coaching people on sleep, now and then I still sleep badly. It's kind of one of these unavoidable things where either you're too excited, you're traveling, you're sick, someone wakes you up. There's always something that can happen where you're just not going to get your ideal sleep done. Now, in this video, I want to talk about what you can do when you're tired, when you've had a bad sleep, so you can get the most of that day, but also to avoid it happening the day after. So you're not just going to suddenly have a whole week of bad sleep, a whole month of bad sleep, because you've kind of damaged your habits from one bad day. And to give some perspective, 2-3 years ago, this is my life. Right now was my life every day nearly. I would probably have 3 or 4 bad days sleep every single week. Just to give an example of how hard a life is when you're sleeping badly, I did a 1-minute short earlier today. 1-minute short would normally take me 1 or 2 attempts maximum. This one took me 15 attempts. I was stuttering, I was losing my words, I was forgetting what I was going to say. Life is harder when you're not sleeping well. And I can feel the pain for anyone watching this right now who's had a bad night's sleep. I'm feeling it now, but I've felt it so many times in the past. So I want to help. I want to give some ideas to what you can do to get the most out of the day, and also how you can cut the pattern and break the cycle. So the first thing first is try to stick to your routine as best you can. So get up, get sunlight, drink water, do exercise, and follow the rhythm as you would. Even if you've woken up later than planned or you've got up earlier than planned, just try to stick to the schedule you'd normally keep. This helps to keep continuity, it keeps your circadian rhythm not too far out of whack, and is going to help you stopping yourself from losing your rhythm for the next day and the day after that. The next thing I recommend, number 2, is if you're struggling to do the deep work, you're struggling to do what you'd normally be doing, the intellectual sort of pursuits that you might do on a day where you're fully energized, at least try and get some shallow work done. So I can refer to a book called Deep Work, which is behind me somewhere. But essentially, we have all these shallow tasks like emails, cleaning, laundry, putting out the rubbish. It could be all sorts of things that often we're actually delaying because they're not the priority. Quite often, we want to be doing the work that's giving us the highest return on investment. But if you are tired, if you're really struggling to be productive, my advice is at least just do the things that are easier, the shallow work. So get the emails done, get your house cleaned up, get your desk in order, and help your future self to at least have everything set up so they can do the deep work when they're energized. Number 3, I'm going to quote David Goggins on this: end the day in black. So what he means by this is sometimes we have a terrible morning. Everything went wrong. It's just like, you want to pull your hair out. You just feel you've wasted your day. But you still have time to do at least something good to try and get yourself from red to black, to make some positive things happen. So don't give up just because the start of the day was bad. See what you can do in a positive sense. And the least you can do, my best advice is, if you want to end the day in black, just go to bed on time today. And then at least you then know the next day you're going to have slightly better sleep and you're going to have a better chance to be productive. Things not to do. Number 1, don't overload in caffeine. Caffeine has a half-life of 5 hours. So if you start taking loads of caffeine in the afternoon, let's say 12 midday, there'll still be quite a lot of that caffeine in your system by the time you want to be going to sleep. Therefore, okay, have some caffeine in the morning, but really be careful with your caffeine consumption in the afternoon. It's very tempting to take more coffee or whatever it might be to get you through the rest of the day, but it isn't worth it. The effect that can have on your sleep and delaying your sleep for the next day and the day after that and the day after that is way worse than any benefit you're going to gain from having coffee in the afternoon or tea or whatever it might be. Therefore, do not overload, especially in the afternoon. Number 2, just be careful if you're managing big machinery, if you're driving. The statistics are very clear. If you're driving when tired, it's nearly as bad, if not worse, than if you're drunk. There's a huge amount of accidents out there. I don't want to be putting too much guilt on people. I know a lot of people have no choice some days, but realistically, you just have to be self-aware that when you are tired, you are a risk to yourself and to others when it comes to driving. So I would beg of you to make second thoughts about this where possible. We only have one run at this rodeo, as far as we're aware, and it's not worth losing that life of yours just for one drive that could be avoided. Number 3, naps. Now, naps are actually okay in moderation. So my only advice here is do not have naps too late in the afternoon and try to keep them under 60 minutes. If you start going to 60, 90 minutes or longer, then your body will just literally be going to sleep. And that will mess up your circadian rhythm in a way that probably will mess up your sleep for the next day, if not days to come. So they're very tempting. I think there's space for naps, but just be careful of the duration and how many you take. And number 4, and maybe the most important thing, don't beat yourself up. The whole world is basically against us and our mother. That's kind of how I see it. So if you're suddenly on the side of the world, then it's everyone but your mum against you and yourself. Like, the world's hard enough without you being hard on yourself. So now and then we do sleep badly. So give yourself a break, do your best, don't beat yourself up about it. You don't need to be stressed about going to sleep the next day. Just do your best. Be on your side. I'd like you to share in the comments if you have any tips yourself about how to deal with being tired, being underslept. And remember, we're not looking for perfection, we're looking for improvement.